Okay. Selamat tengah hari. Good afternoon to everybody. I am Richard Wee from Richard Wee Chambers. Today we are hosting a webinar live on Facebook. Must be frank with all of you, this is the first time I am personally doing this. So if there is some blunder, please forgive me, forgive us. RWC is a law firm, not a technical team. So we're trying our best to use what we have to work with this. The webinar Impact Series is a series of talks that we conduct on the internet. We've held one last week with Brickfields College, very kind of them to share their Zoom with us. That talk was about the impact of COVID-19 on sports business. It was a very, very engaging talk. We spoke with two industry leaders and that was well received. Today we are hosting two distinguished gentlemen, one from Ipoh and another born in Malacca but now based in Petaling Jaya. And the topic of today's conversation is about the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the litigation process, particularly in Peninsular Malaysia. I think we will soon explain to everybody why we are focused on Peninsular Malaysia. Without much ado, before I continue, without further ado, can I first introduce our speakers? Can I first introduce Kenny Lai and then followed by Desmond? Maybe you can share a few minutes about what you're doing, your career and your past position as the Court Liaison Committee. All yours, Kenny.
Okay, hi, I'm Kenny. Some of you may know me. I am practicing in Ipoh, Perak. My firm does both litigation and conveyancing. I do mostly litigation, civil as well as criminal. Criminal not so much, but I do help out with the YBGK work. For the bar, I'll be past chairman of the Perak Bar, as well as the bar rep for the Perak Bar. I also have been with Desmond together as the co-chairs of the Court Liaison Committee when e-filing was first introduced. When it was having its teething problems, I think we were spending 3/4 of our lives trying to save other people's problems or solve other people's problems for e-filing. But maybe that gives you a bit of a knowledge of what the e-filing system has and can and cannot do. Of course, it has progressed a little bit, but yeah, that's about what we do. Okay.
Thanks. As usual, Kenny. Anybody who knows Kenny is always a man of short and sweet, straight to the point. So yeah, that's our Taiko in Ipoh. Everybody in Klang Valley will know that if you go to Ipoh, you must meet Kenny Lai for drinks. Yeah. So Desmond, yes, our Malacca boss now moved to Selangor. All yours, mate.
No, I'm not Malacca boss. Anyway, I'm a litigator too. Just set up my branch in Selangor because I'm staying now in Petaling Jaya. Yeah, Petaling Jaya area. I've been in practice since 2001. Been council members with Richard and Kenny for quite some time. And I was with Kenny handling the Court Liaison Committee, dealing mainly with the courts. We were involved also with the Rules of Court 2012 when it was being drafted out. We dealt also with e-courts too, and all the technological developments at the court side. So that's why we are here today, so that we can just share some inputs, our views, not just from the point of lawyers, but having the inside knowledge a bit of how the courts think, what the courts are actually planning to do. Perhaps we can share some thoughts about what is happening and what kind of impact this COVID-19 pandemic is going to have on our litigation process. Yeah. So we are going to talk about what we call the new normal. It's a new normal for us.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. New normal now is waking up in the morning and not having to go to court. Yeah, there's a new normal. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, as of 3:10, we have about, it's now 3:06 p.m. We have about 56 people who is logged on. Thank you very much. Terima kasih. Some housekeeping rules. Well, we want to make this interactive. The only way we can communicate with all of you is by looking at the comments posted on at the bottom of the page. A few members of my colleagues at Richard V. Chambers are also keeping an eye on another page. Apparently, because of I'm an admin on another page called MESPA, the Malaysian Esports Players Association. It's also appearing there. So I apologize to the members of MESPA. Technical error. I can't stop it there now because it's going live. So I guess the esports people get to hear free talk on litigation process also. So if you have any queries, please put a comment below. We'll try our best to respond. We've got quite a number of topics to cover, and we target to do the Q&A at about 3:45, 3:50, and then we'll wrap it up by 4 or so, right? Before that, let me set the tone on what we're trying to do. I'm the moderator, so we will post issues and topics for Desmond and Kenny to offer ideas, offer some clarity. The problem is that the two of them, I must be frank, I think even the Bar Council, the office bearers, they're trying to get information for all of us on what's going to happen. So we'll try to give some sort of a roadmap, some sort of a guidance, so that our members members of the bar who's listening to this and clients who are listening to this, you are going to be a little bit more well-versed and better off in 1 hour's time. So what we'll do now, we will first discuss currently what's happening to the litigation process currently. So as you hear the words we are saying, is the process. We're not here to give tactic, how to file Order 14 injunction. We're talking about the process, the change in the process now in the current MCO, and with the rumored extension that we may have a MCO till the end of April. So we may have to discuss this, what we're going to do during the MCO. If not, we still got 1 more week of the MCO, right, Kenny, Desmond? I think we got 1 more week, right?
Yeah. Next Tuesday. Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday, yeah. Then at the same time, I think more importantly, we have to discuss the post MCO, or some people call PKP in Bahasa Malaysia, Bahasa Melayu, and what do we do after that? As you can see in China, even though the pandemic has kind of slowed down, but the entire country is still on alert, and they are still maintaining social distancing, except recently apparently was some crowded places in some pleasant places, but the government is very stern in doing that. So are we going to do the same thing here after all this? So we have to discuss all that. So okay, ready? Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan?
Yep.
Tuan-tuan boleh sedia? Boleh? Okay.
Yeah.
As of now, we have 67 people. Thank you very much. Terima kasih. Yeah. Okay. Let's start off this. MCO. Now, we have to file documents. We have to file new cases. We have to affirm documents. This is the words, the tools of a litigation lawyer. And I think clients who deal with litigation, they will always hear this word: affidavit, time, case management, pay my fees. These are the words they will hear from the lawyer all the time. So, Kenny, with the ongoing MCO, how can you share with us what you've gathered so far from the circulars that we received from the Bar Council, and messages that you may know from the court? How do we deal with the process of filing documents, especially those which require a commissioner for? Do you have any comments?
Okay. For the most part, I think if you go to see a lawyer now and you want to file a suit, there is nothing stopping us from filing the suit for you.
Yes.
We can actually proceed and to file the statement of claim as well as the summons and everything. No issues. There is nothing stopping us from doing it. You will only find a problem when you want to file something like the originating summons, where it requires an affidavit to support. The problem that we will face is that all commissioner for oath are not allowed to do anything during this MCO. They are not one of the essential services. Therefore, you will have your OS, but you don't have the affidavit in support. Having said that, you can still file, I believe. You can still file. And then MCO is lifted on, let's say, the 14th of this month, and then you quickly rush and get your affidavit filed and then file it in to support your OS. That is probably what you can do right now. So yeah, you can still file if you really want to. That is my view on things.
Yeah,
But it is
and
going to be
and
difficult, and there will be certain things that you have to look out for.
spot on.
Yeah.
Desmond, do you think we have anything? Kenny seems as usual, typical Kenny, giving a very practical view. Do we have anything in the rules of court which we may be able to refer to as a guide on how to deal with this our version of pandemic among the litigators? What do you think? Is there anything in rules of court or any FAQ we can refer to?
I think the rules of court is very clear by itself. You just need to know what originating process are you intending to file. So as lawyers, we know we can actually file the writ of summons if you want to. The writ of summons will be appended with the statement of claim. Statement of claim does not require an affidavit. For those who are not lawyers, an affidavit is just a sworn statement, an oath taken by the deponent of the affidavit. So it's like as though the person who made the affidavit is in court, taking an oath before the judge and making a statement. So this is now reduced in writing before a commission of oath. Okay. So some originating processes will require an affidavit in support of it. You have to be very careful whether you can actually get an affidavit sworn in time for you to actually then just append to your originating process. I'm not too sure. Commission of oaths, whether they are available in the court itself. There was.
I think they may be. They may be because there will be the on-duty commissioner for oath of the day, isn't it? But I do not know whether they are running as it is right now or not.
The problem, Kenny, is that none of them are designated as essential services. You know, unlike in Singapore, which we just saw them announcing, legal services, some aspects of legal services are regarded as essential services and is allowed, permitted to operate. One of them is, of course, conveyancing and ongoing litigation. But here there is a absolute suspension, which has put a spanner in many of our clients' work and their rights, right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
So like, as far as I know, the courts are open, so there will be interpreter there, and then most of the time the interpreters are also commissioner for oaths.
Yes.
But there is an order that by the government has issued where the commissioner of oaths are not supposed to be applying a trade in that sense. You know? So therefore, I don't think there will be one in court right now.
Well, we got a comment from Yvonne Lim saying that there's no court of appeal,
Commissioner of oaths.
no commissioner of oaths. Thank you very much. You see, I love this. This is an interaction. Ladies and gentlemen, there are 71 of us here. This is not about Kenny, Desmond, and I talking down to people who are hearing this out. It's about us. If we are in this together, so three of us bukannya pandai sangat. So we're trying to do what we can, using whatever experience we have, knowledge, and our relationship with the courts to see what we can do. Vince Chong has asked an interesting question. Vince is the partner in Nick Hussein. He's asked, Kenny's comment, can we file a suit? Yes, we can file a suit, but are we allowed to serve? And if so, how? Maybe the two of you would like to tackle that? Good question, Vince.
Okay.
Vince, I think we had a short discussion actually between the three of us yesterday.
Yes, we did.
I was telling them that you can actually file. Technically, you can actually even serve it if you can get yourself to the post office. You can actually serve it because the Post Malaysia is an essential service, and it is you can actually serve the document. But
interesting.
The question would be, I think if you serve it on your clients, can they then engage a lawyer or defendant? Can they then engage a person to come on record for them?
They can.
Will the time run according to the same way as used to run? So definitely you can serve it. There are ways and means of doing it. You can even actually, I think, get a Grab driver to send it for you. You can pay somebody and actually do it for you.
So instead of delivering food or sending a Lazada item, they may end up dropping a statement of claim. It will be a horrible delivery.
Yes. So I mean, this is getting very creative in terms of service, but I think it's possible. But the question will be whether you would want to or not.
Yeah, that's correct.
There's actually no freezing of court processes. The court is still functioning. Criminal cases, charges are still being heard in the court. So as far as we are concerned, there is no freeze, moratorium, or whatever it is granted towards court processes or litigation. So if you initiate a legal suit, you file your writ of summons, do not forget that you have a time period to attempt service. 2 days ago, I instructed my lawyers, regardless of whatever is being said, case management's e-review is still ongoing. The court will be asking you, have you actually attempted service? Service must be done within, I believe, 30 days. Yeah. So you still need to attempt to serve, although you know when you serve it, let's say it's to a company, the business premises will be closed. It doesn't matter whether they receive it or not. You're not going to file an affidavit of service for it, but you at least can inform the judge or the registrar that I have attempted service. Please do not strike out my case. We are still bound by the rules.
And I would like to believe, of course, I would prefer to say all, but it's not. We don't know. I would like to believe majority of our judges, they will know, they will understand. Unless, of course, someone is doing it with ill intent. Even then, the judge, if they see, the judge will, of course, try to legalize the service. Yeah. But okay, so basically, in short, our panels of the view that we can serve, be a bit creative, and that should be able to answer wins. Though as I said earlier, we cannot give a 100% foolproof answer. We are not the encyclopedia.
We're all in the same darkness that we all.
Same darkness, yeah. Okay. Go on.
Just to share my point of view that I take for my firm would be that whatever service that we attempt during this period of MCO will not be covered under actual service. So that's why I said we are not going to file an affidavit of service. But to comply with the service of writ within the 30 days, we will still do it. But I'm not going to file an AOS for that. It's just to inform the court that, look, we have complied with the rules of court. Please do not strike out my case. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Let's see how it goes. On that point of hearing in court, and we mentioned about judges, I think all members of the Malaysian bar, and this is where I would like to explain why Kenny, Desmond, and we mentioned Peninsular Malaysia at the beginning. So for those who are unaware, especially non-lawyers and who are listening in, thank you very much. In Malaysia, there are two separate systems. The Borneo system or Sabah and Sarawak is managed by the Sabah and Sarawak High Court, and the Peninsular lawyers are unable or not permitted to appear in courts in Sabah and Sarawak. So hence, Kenny, Desmond, and I will be referring to the Peninsular matters. Now, we recently received from the Malaysian bar, which is of course the bar for the Peninsular lawyers, about a circular for online hearings. So very, very interesting. And I think one of the circulars even mentioned about having some sort of a hearing through emails. Now, to the people who are outside the bar, many are unaware that the courts in Peninsular over the last few years have embraced technology, though not fully, but slowly. So one of the ways we do is we have now e-reviews. We have we can even email to our judges. We can email to our SAR. At one time, I remembered 10 years ago, that's a no-no. Now it's a common thing. And recently, we took a huge leap. And I even saw on LinkedIn a lawyer explaining that he successfully defended an injunction last week, and the entire hearing was done online. So, Desmond, any comments of this? Maybe you can brief on that circular, or Kenny, you want to take a shot, talk about the circular, and then we can have a discussion on the who, what, why, when, where to do this online hearing. Kenny, Desmond, who wants to start first?
I think that the circular we refer to is, I think, 77 of 2020, where I think it's 77 on 2020, where the Chief Registrar of the Federal Court says that we can do some hearings via online systems, via video system. Now, I have not done one yet. Never had the opportunity to do one yet on via this video system. I do not know how or what system they're using. Therefore, I can't really comment based on what I really don't know. But if the system itself is good, then the question would then fall to whether how much privacy you have there, what are the concerns you have, how can you refer to documents and all these kinds of things. That one I'm not too sure, because it is a good thing. I think that like Richard was saying just now, the person successfully defended a injunction matter. That is really good. I don't know the details of how we did that. I do not know whether it was just submissions only or whether there was a live video conferencing, like what we are doing now. If we could do something like this, then yeah, I think it's possible. It would be a good step forward for the bar as well as for the judiciary. I believe I remember a couple of years ago we were briefed that in Sabah and Sarawak they can actually do hearings online.
Yes, they can. They
For
can. Yeah.
lawyers who are unable to get themselves to Kota Kinabalu, if they are in a smaller town somewhere, it takes maybe a flight and all kind of this, but they can do it via online, streaming online, or whether they get video conferencing online to do the hearing. So I guess we can do it here as well, but I do not know how good the system is here yet. Because it is actually very, very new.
Yeah. In fact, I recently, sorry, there's a delivery at our house, so my poor wife is running a ding dong. I hope nobody's serving anything on me. I think someone heard Kenny saying, "Let's go Richard V's house and serve it on him now."
There must be the domino.
Junction.
So in fact, I recall reading one of our fellow members, I think this guy named Kelvin Koo, my junior. He put that he flew to Sabah and then had to do a hearing because he couldn't make it in Labuan, and he did it live, from the Sabah High Court.
He went to the wrong court.
Yeah. Kelvin, terrible, yeah. So anyway, to be fair, there's a genuine mistake on his part. Nobody purposely go to the wrong court. But what is excellent was what he explained. He said that, hey, I could do a hearing there, which means what you say, Kenny, they have the hardware, they have the technology to do it. They probably have the software too. So interesting. Yeah. So yeah, someone said they heard a doorbell. Yeah, it's mine. Sorry, guys. Yeah. So yeah, that's the way. But what do you think about Peninsular Malaya? I mean, we've seen our courts all over Malaya, the high courts especially, all prepared with the camera and whatever. Can we do it? You think the courts are ready for it?
I think we can do it, but I'm not sure whether the courts are ready for it yet. Certain courts, I think they need to designate, but I don't think every court will be available for it. It would require quite a big sum of money to get the infrastructure up and running. You will need webcams, you will need computers, you will need to be able to access documents easily. You need to be able to scan and upload documents that you're talking that you need right now. Practically, let's say we are having let's say we are having a suit now, and Richard is the judge now. So if I were to refer a document now, how do I go about doing it? For the most part, most of my documents will have already uploaded into the e-filing system, which we will be able to access if we are granted access. Right now, I think we have limited access to documents that we have filed. For the hearing, maybe it needs to be a bit more practical in the sense that everything will be uploaded into that particular session, and then we will be able to refer the judge and my opponent to the particular pages and all these kind of things. But as we all know, when it comes to hearings, certain things crop up along the way. If the judge then asks you, what about this particular section of the law, let's say, and you want to refer the judge to it, in court you would then either give a copy of whatever you have,
correct,
or refer the court to it. But for live, it will be a bit different. There may be ways to get around it, I'm sure, but I think we need to sit down and actually go through how things would work with all the parties who are involved, the courts, the judiciary, the lawyers, sit down, and it's possible. I think it's a very good thing to do. It will save a lot of us a lot of time when actually traveling up and down to get ourselves from one state to the other.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Desmond, you want to add anything on to that? I think Kenny covered quite extensively. Anything?
Yeah. When we are talking about how they did it online in East Malaysia, Sabah, Sarawak, the courts are actually sitting in open court.
Okay.
Okay, so they will still comply with the rules of court, with the particular rules that applies to the court. You are just virtually attending an open court. That's why they can actually conduct it that way. But I think what we are looking at is not just attending an open court, but whether hearings can be done without an open court being in session.
Yeah. So the judge can actually hear the way we are doing now. He says, imagine three of us. One of us is the judge, the other fellow is a plaintiff, the other fellow is a defendant. It's going to be like this, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
I think it should be.
Yeah, it can be done. And we must not forget, maybe 15 years ago, most of the judges were still fairly new to computers. Some were very analog. I'm from the analog generation. Don't forget, we started in the 90s where, Windows 95 was cool, those days. Yeah. But I think
I don't think Windows 95 was ever cool.
Yeah, horrible software. But most judges, in fact, they say all judges are very comfortable with the computers and laptops and iPads and tablets. I would not be surprised in the future of the hearing, especially in courts which require lots of documentation, like Court of Appeal and Federal Court. They would have the iPad in front of us with the relevant app or the relevant software where we can actually point out to the judge, oh my lord, if we refer to page 8 of this iPad, you will see that we have highlighted it. So if you flip through, you can see it there. So maybe that is the future, isn't it?
Yeah, I think.
But for now, go on. Yes, that's what.
We also have to look at 3 different kinds of appearances that we have in court. When we, as lawyers, we appear in court. Yeah, one would be, of course, case management. Okay, case management. Prior to the rules of court 2012, we know it as a sabotan, right? A mention before the court. So we are just going to update the court as to the status of the case, our applications, the service of documents, and all that. Then we also have hearing. Okay. Where an application is going to be heard on its merits. You're applying for substitute service. So the court or the registrar or the judge will actually hear your matter and grant an order, right?
Yeah.
And the third one is the trial, full trial, which is under the rules we are referring to perbicaraan. So all these 3 will have different sets of rules that will apply to it. So like for trials, I believe it's Order 33 of our rules of court. So just to highlight Order 33 to our listeners, the court actually has the powers to direct how a trial can take place. It seems to be very vague, but whether trials can actually be conducted online.
Okay.
Well,
it seems like the rules of court has been interpreted to be able to conduct online in Sabah and Sarawak. Don't forget, Sabah and Sarawak use the same rules of court like us.
Yeah.
So it looks like it can be done.
Yeah. As for hearing itself, there's nothing much here. I've actually gone through the rules that speaks about how the court is going to conduct hearings.
But Desmond, Kenny, I'm trying to look at it from a practical point of view. Let's say, we are going to file a suit in court now, and we need to file an injunction because we know the other party is going to trigger a bank guarantee next week. So we need to stop that bank guarantee at all costs. A very common urgent litigation which in a civil case we know of. Of course, in criminal matters, all cases are urgent. The moment there is some arrest, they will charge. So the criminal is a slightly different genre. It's ongoing. In fact, all criminal matters, the remands are ongoing. So let's say now saya nak file lah, kata saya nak file. I want to file something urgent. I would file now and with what do you call this, with notice permohonan, with a certificate of urgency, to want to hear what do you call this, injunction ASAP, and maybe give the relevant undertakings of the sworn documents. And let's say the judge immediately is willing to hear us on the spot. So how do you think we can do it? I mean, we email each other. There must be some sort of maybe the judge can do a WhatsApp group or something like that.
Right.
Then they can.
You're talking about right now, Richard?
Now,
Right
MCO now.
During during this MCO, you can actually appear in court for this type of urgent matters. Yes, if you file in a certificate of urgency, you can appear in court.
Yes.
The High Court would be there and they will hear your application. Provided I think give them some notice. Once you file in your certificate of urgency, you will fix the date and then you can appear actually.
And then you have to give the other side 3 days hearing notice to do the hearing online. Something like that. If you want to go online,
No, this is if you go online, but you can actually appear in court right now as well. Live, I mean, not live, but you in person.
So your opponent can still come to court then?
I believe so. But if you're going online, then you need to give them 3 days notice for the court to fix a hearing, to have it heard online, I think. Or I can't remember exactly how it is. I think it's one or the other, but I think you can appear in court right now.
Yeah.
I may be a bit confused about that part but maybe
the certificate of emergency, I agree with you, Kenny, because even my colleagues, we discussed it, we interpreted it to mean that if there's something urgent, we can file a certificate of urgency and then run to court, and I think the SAR will entertain us. Blah blah blah. But the hearing part, I don't think they may allow you to hear it in open court. They subject to the MCO. They may want us to hold it at through the online.
Online,
Yeah. So in fact, Ajit here, I'm going to share Ajit's comment. Ajit, of course, is a prominent member of the bar. She's been a litigator for a long time. Her comment is, for certificate of urgency, after you have filed it, you can contact the officer in charge to sort out the urgent hearing date. There you go. I think that sounds spot on. Yeah. By the way, we have 77 people, 78. Yeah, thank you very much. Terima kasih for logging on. And then it'll be interesting. In fact, one more comment here I'll share from Joe Lam. He said that I've heard previously a construction court allowed parties to cross-examine a foreign witness via video conferencing. Yeah, the construction court, I know they can do it. They have a superb courtroom there. Yeah.
I think the construction court is very up to date in the sense that they have these share screens between the judges and then the two lawyers as well, where every document you refer to, all three will have the same document in front of them. So when you refer to a particular document or flip to a certain page in that document on your computer screens, all parties will have the same view. So I think they are set up to ease because construction courts, the bundle of documents are really, really thick. So I think they have to scan everything online, and that's how they do it. So having said that, with that type of system, if we can do the same online, it will be really good. But I think we need to really sit down to talk about hard disk space. We need to talk about streaming capabilities. We need to talk about bandwidth. How many can you do in a day? How many people can log on at the same time? Will you have spotty audio? Will people hear you well enough or not? Those are the types of things that they need to actually look into before it can actually become a success, I think. So again, all parties need to come and sit down and actually discuss things, and of course, at the end of the day,
all the stakeholders,
yes, and all these things cost money. Who's going to pay for it?
By you.
Our government can do it. That's what you're saying. You wanted to say something?
Construction court, whatever they are doing is allowed for by the rules. Like earlier on, Order 33. If the court directs for the cross-examination to be done via video conferencing, it is still valid. It's the same like when we do criminal cases, and it involves a minor, and the minor is in the next court. Okay, we are actually asking questions to the minor through a video conferencing, just that it happens to be next door.
Yeah. We know that's happened before. Well, now it's just nice. It's already 3:35. We let's now move on to post MCO. So we've been discussing. We have a hint of what we may do post MCO. So far the take home so far is that we've talked about the process to serve, to file, the challenges with the affidavits, the commissioner for oath not working. We've got some comments from the members of the bar who's online now to say, nah, the COO is not working even in court. We've got a question about service. Can we still serve? So this comment, maybe we can grab serve. And then, of course, ding dong, my doorbell ring. What a timing. So then we'll be talking about online hearings, how to conduct it, blah, 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 the capability, capacity, and the way forward. Now, let's say MCO ends tomorrow. But we know the pandemic, COVID-19, it's very, very much around. It's very unrelenting. This virus is very unrelenting. And in your view, gentlemen, post MCO or PKP, how do you think the courts will handle hearings in face-to-face hearings, or do you think the court may lean more towards online hearing? Desmond, why don't you start first? What's your view? What do you envision will happen with your experience as a past court liaison committee and as a past chairman of Malacca Bar? You know how the court works. Post MCO 2020, what do you think the court may do?
The judiciary itself, they have not just been looking inwards when we look at technology. They have been traveling. They have been looking at their counterparts from other countries, looking into their systems. And they have quietly implemented quite a number of measures, like you just suddenly see the e-courts 1 being introduced in KL and Selangor. Then it was rolled out through e-courts 2 to the other states all over. Then we see e-review. We have e-lelong. I understand that next online new thing that will come in will be automatic transcription of our trial notes. Okay, we've been asking for it for a very long time. We have seen it fail at the Industrial Relations Court. From what I heard, Industrial Relations Court, they were using a KGB software. Technology at the point of time was not very accurate. They cannot catch the way we speak.
I see.
Yeah. So, but now technology has improved a lot with AI, artificial intelligence. I was informed reliably by a company that they are able to capture up till about almost 80% accuracy of a trial. Okay, whether it's in Kelantan or in Johor, spoken in their own native slang.
Especially in Kelantan.
Yes.
So
they can capture it because they are using AI. AI learns the way you speak, learns your lingo, and then it will capture it and it will come out. It will learn over the years. So this is something that's coming in. I can't speak too much because it's supposed to be confidential.
Yeah, soon. Coming soon. Akan datang. Yeah. But good. Yeah, so you are given a hint to the members of what's going to come ahead. Yep, good.
Other than that, that's just one small part of a bigger picture. So we are in the legal services. Legal services, we're not just dealing with the courts, dealing with our clients. We sometimes forget that our clients are from other industries. We are dealing with architects. We are dealing with developers. We are dealing with accountants. They, in their own industry, they have gone forward. They have adopted technology in their work. If we do not adopt technology for our own selves, we will not be able to cope and service our clients.
Yeah.
Our clients are all moving into AI. The CGSS has been pushing for AI, and I understand that I think it has been implemented in Sabah, I believe. Okay. Yeah. So this is coming in, and I think we can be critical. It is our right to be critical as lawyers, okay? But we shouldn't outrightly say, no, we don't want it. Take it away from us. Give us back our old life. No, we can't. We can't do that.
Desmond, I think for the most part, most lawyers, especially the younger generation or the ones coming in, IT and all these things, they're all for it, But I think we are actually our hands are a bit tight due to our LPA. Our LPA doesn't allow for certain things to be done in certain ways. So I know there is talk about revamping the LPA. It has actually gone to the AG chambers and all for it to be passed. But of course, until now, it's not come out yet lah. So with the revamping and all these things, then definitely you would be able to come up with something.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
like I think I see a comment by Ajit. She was talking about the Sabah and Sarawak recently sentencing using AI.
Yes.
Of course, there are two views on this.
By the way, AI is not Anwar Ibrahim. It's artificial intelligence. Yeah.
Yeah, there are some views about this because in the sense that on one, they are saying that the computer then decides your sentence. So as you know, computers just do facts. You know, they just do numbers. So if the sentence for a certain crime is, let's say 10 years, and the trend is 10 years, 10 years, 10 years, so you will get 10 years. But there is a discretion given to the judge as well as the magistrates in current system that they say it's up to 10 years means doesn't mean I have to give 10 years. And they look at the facts around the thing and say, look, this person, I may want to just give a fine. I may just want to bind it over. I may just want to sentence this person to a 1 year's jail, or I may not want to sentence to jail at all. Of course, I think the comment back to the AI is that it is a guideline. But in Malaysia, as far as I can tell, guidelines usually become almost like law when it comes to officers, unfortunately. You know.
Ladies and gentlemen, just
for the current MCO as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Where instead of a fine, their second phase MCOs are going to jail. There is no. This is the offense that they are committing. There is a discretion, but I think they've been asked to be more stern with the offenders out there. And I don't think jail time is actually will do anything for this. I don't think it's right. But
yeah.
Luckily, you can see that the judiciary as well as the prisons system has come and say, no, please don't send them to us.
Don't send them to them. Yeah, the prisons are full. Correct. Yeah, I saw that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, go on, Desmond. Yeah.
I think we are misunderstanding how AI is being used by the courts.
Yeah.
AI is not just a guide; it's actually just a tool. It is a tool to assist the judges.
To refer to, correct.
Yes, number one, collect data. Number two, provide sufficient data to guide the judge to make the correct decision. So yes, the court still has the full discretion to sentence, but wouldn't it be good if the court can actually look at a whole set of data that tells the court immediately, like, look, okay, for this kind of cases, the trend has been like this. Okay, then I know what kind of sentence to issue out. So we won't have a huge disparity between sentencing in Ipoh and in Malacca, okay, for a mother that steals tins of milk for the child. Yeah, or not great because they're hungry. I think that's
I think currently the magistrates actually do that as well. Or, well, the judges actually do that as well. There is somebody doing some research on the current trends of sentencing and all these kind of things, and then they do refer to it, and then they come up roughly to that. And even if they don't, the lawyers who appear before them would actually tell them as well. This is the trend. Of course, they give the lowest and the highest, depends on whether you be found guilty and all, isn't it?
Yeah.
There is some trend to be shown. So the AI, I think, just helps the judge gather all the data on that.
Excellent. Very good point. Yeah. Go on, Desmond. Go on.
Can I add? Yeah, I actually had a small chat with Tan Sri himself. I asked him before he left office about his comments on AI and how he was going to implement it in Sabah. What he shared with me was interesting. He said this.
Are you referring to our former CGSS?
Yes, former CGSS, Tan Sri David.
Go on.
He introduced it. So he said this. It's also going to be beneficial for lawyers and for us to advise our clients. AI will also assist the lawyers because depending on the judge that we are going to appear before, you know that we lawyers, we do that too. We research our judge. We ask our friends in Malacca or in Penang, how's this judge like? What kind of sentence does he actually issue out for certain cases?
Really? Do we do that?
Yeah, because we want to know the trend. Okay, so it says that, look, this is going to push and help plea bargaining. Okay, because then you can advise your client and say, look, 80%, it looks like 80% of the sentence that this judge issues out for this kind of offense will be 2 years jail. He likes to give you 2 years jail. Now the
So be
DPP is,
prepared for 2 years jail.
correct, DPP is offering you 6 months. So consider, do you want to then plead guilty and take the 6 months, or you want to risk it for 2 years? So he's saying that it helps you to talk to your client. That's one. Number two, also to allow clients to then make the decision on their own without going for full trial and wasting cost time.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, before we proceed, it's already 3:45. At the peak of the event just now, we had about almost 80 people logging on. Thank you very much. For those who just logged on, this is the RWC webinar impact series discussing on the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on the litigation process in Peninsular Malaysia. So far, we have had a discussion on what is happening now during the MCO, and Kenny and Desmond have been trying to tackle what may happen after the MCO, which the discussions have been leaning towards technological embracement, and where we may conduct hearings using things like artificial intelligence as a tool to assist the judge and us. And actually, I could like to also say, since you mentioned Tan Sri, our retired CGSS, his lordship at the recent Selangor Bar's litigation conference, I remember, sometime in February, his lordship actually mentioned that in the Court of Appeal and the Federal Court, they may conduct hearing paperless. So the court is already working towards that. That's fantastic. Right? So, okay, let's now try to discuss about the criminal matters for a quick one. At the moment, all criminal hearings for remand are still ongoing at the MCO. All criminal trials, I understand, has been suspended, is stopped because they can't conduct the hearing. But do you think, there Kokila, hi, she's the organizer for the conference. It's called Civil Law Conference at Selangor, but very well organized. Too bad it fell on the same day with my Chinese New Year party, Koki, so I couldn't attend. Sorry. But then she couldn't attend my party, yeah, so too bad. But how are we going to hold online hearing if the accused is in prison? So we put the accused. Do you think it may happen one day? We actually put the accused in some special room in Sungai Buloh or Kajang prison.
Yeah,
and the judge.
I think it's possible because it would then save the cost of transportation and all these things. Or again, like I said before, I think everyone that has this, all stakeholders have to come into it. The prison department being one of them as well. So they would need to set up a room specifically for this conduct of hearings. They can do it. I don't see any problem about doing something like that.
We have some listeners. I saw Sinyu, who does a fair bit of criminal defense work. He's logged on. Maybe he can make comments about this. But I agree with you, Kenny. I think can be done. But of course, again, as a lawyers, we would like to know the who, what, why, when, where, the legality of it for it to move forward. But I suspect post MCO, the new normal will be online hearings, online work. The internet, and can I say this, the internet has definitely saved a lot of lives. If not for the internet, the lack of information, etc., I think more people would have passed away. So the internet really have saved a lot of lives. And moving forward, I think internet would also be a useful tool for our practice, isn't it?
Richard, I think coming back to the criminal matter, the only problem I can see right now is when you need to discuss with your client without having anyone else listening to what's going on. Having this web conference thing, yes, you can do all the hearings online, but you will find it difficult to actually converse with your client on issues, on things that maybe you want to inform the court or not to inform the court. Something that are your privacy, that may be an issue. Your privilege, things that fall under the privilege that you may not want to reveal or cannot reveal. Then you find it a bit difficult to actually talk to your client unless you allow a phone,
a private phone. Yeah, I think the conversation will be a challenge.
Yeah.
If they work if they work around it, yeah, Desmond, sorry.
Actually, this is not something new. This was maybe I've forgotten. It's been so long. How many years have you left council? 6 years? 4 years?
Oh, yeah. You know, that's Kenny. He's trying to ask you to go back to try run for election and go back into council.
No.
Yeah.
Word for this one.
Way back then, I remember there were discussions between the bar, okay, the prison authorities, and the court. And the court actually wanted to have online remand hearings. Okay, sorry, my daughter is here.
Hello. This is like that infamous news we had. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, the court is calling her. All right. Anyway, the courts are the prison authorities are actually prepared to have remand hearings within the prison walls, and they have the facilities. That was what I was informed many years ago. But there were concerns like what Kenny raised would be. I can also see like what was this? Who said something about
which one?
Concern?
I think Benjamin as well as Davy Sprocket. I think both of them. Were
Yeah.
talking
So let me read out. Benjamin, our buddy Heng Tai from Bukit Murtajam. He said, "What about the dangers of experts sitting beside witness and coaching witness to answer?" Fantastic.
Yeah.
Ben, spot on. Then the other one is I think Davy Sprocket. Hi, Davy. Do not think that the criminal trial will be conducted via video conference anytime soon, nor should it be, particularly for capital punishment cases, offences. There is too much at stake, as the judge will not be able to tell the demeanour of the witnesses. Fantastic points. Yep.
Correct. Like I said, it's not impossible to do it, but there are many things that the court has to consider, and even lawyers will have to consider before something like this can be done. But I don't think we should shy away from it, in a sense that everything has to move forward. So it may be one of the ways that it will be going forward. I think that it should, but it may have to go that way.
Yeah.
Well, I think criminal hearings is they may conduct some hearings online, but they have to be selective. And I tend to share the same sentiments with Davy and Benjamin, that it may not be something we may want to do immediately for everything, but it's something we may have to consider. Philip Lee, a fellow member of the bar, formerly member of the bar. Hi, Philip. He has given a comment that there are service providers where you can select party to go into personal rooms. So there are softwares and hardwares and service providers which we can assist for this. The point is that I think the system can explore and move forward on this. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got 6 more minutes before we slowly come down to an end. Any questions you have, we can start posing it now. We have a gentleman, Sukhdev, who asked us to give a short summary. We'll come back to it later when we summarize the talk. I think we also need to talk about the importance of maintaining the sanctity of the litigation process. We have seen before, and that's why I recall the two of you have mentioned that we may have to amend the rules, amend the law for the LPA, blah, 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 because we can't just simply change everything online. The Act of Parliament may not, or the rules may not adhere to, or may not allow that. So what do you think moving forward for short term, gentlemen, because we don't have much time, for short term, what do you think we can do to embrace technology and to read it together with the rules and the Act of Parliament, that it can be done? What do you think? Is there any way forward on this?
To reconcile the rules and what we're going to do, probably nothing much we can do per se, except lobby the right people to amend the law.
Well, it seems that Kenny, the courts have interpreted the rules in such a way, right? They seem to have, like Sabah Sarawak is a classic one. Yeah. So it's also about interpretation, I suppose.
Yeah, interpretation. And I think for the most part, we as lawyers have to be prepared for this. We need to update ourselves. We need to use the technology available to us. We don't know how long this MCO will last technically. We do not know if we'll come back again. We do not know, there could be things that could happen in the future, but we need to be prepared for it. We need to be able to embrace all types of technology and use them in ways that we can, I mean, 10, 15 years ago, having this live conference would not be possible, but it is right now. And I think in the future, it could be something that we must really, really look at already. And I think the court liaison committee, as well as the stakeholders of all this, will have to really sit down, especially after this, to see what is the way forward for all lawyers as well as the courts.
Desmond, want to try before we do a roundup on what Sukhdev asked?
I'm just looking at what Vince has actually. I think you put it up. I think everyone can read. The court should standardize the mode of online hearings. I agree that I myself, I have email decision that's going to be delivered. So I'm supposed to record my attendance by sending out an email. I'm not sure how they will actually then deliver the decision, whether there's clarification required and all that. So if you also do it by Zoom, there are multiple platforms out there for us to do online hearings or appearances before the court. To standardize matters, I think this is a long-standing problem that we have. When Kenny and me looked into the issue of witness statements, when they first introduced witness statements, one of the main issues that we have would be what kind of witness statements, what mode, how is it going to look like? Q&A? Who's going to prepare the witness statement? Is there a set standard? Is it by way of verbatim? Do we even record pauses? Do we record coughing? How would we know? So we actually got council's research officer, I believe analyst prepared a write-up for us, researching on how UK and Hong Kong handled matters like witness statements. They actually amended their rules. They have guidelines as to what kind of witness statements can be allowed in. So likewise, for video conferencing and for online hearings, they need to brainstorm, do a bit of a research compared to other jurisdictions, learn from them, tweak it, make sure that it applies to us, and then get it set and applied. Yeah.
Well, we are almost coming to 4:00. We would like to summarize the talk. Maybe can we just repeat? Would you to say something, Kenny, to our gentleman? I think Sukhdev inquired about. Could you give a short summary of your discussion about filing an affidavit now during MCO? Can we file an affidavit now?
The short answer is no, because the commissioner will also looking.
I would think that best.
Even if you know, if let's say you are in a house where, let's say, your father is a commissioner of oaths and he can sign a document, you can't, because he's not allowed to operate during this MCO period. So therefore, your validity of that document will then come into question. So the short answer is you can't file any affidavit now.
I think the closest we can do is provide an undertaking, that we will file. But even then, I don't think courts will take such an undertaking because it's not within the rules of court. There's no such legality of such an undertaking to provide an affidavit later. Of course, technically, if we know when the MCO is ending, we can file, for example, the notice permohonan first or the originating summons first. Then I think the rules allow a certain timeline, I think about 14 days, for example, to file the affidavit later. So maybe if you file something now, 14 days from now, you can still affirm an affidavit. But there's a risk because the MCO extends to the end of the month. You're out already. So that's a tactic move, but we won't go there because this talk is not about tactic. This talk about the litigation process. Okay, so
I think prepare to do it for you.
Richard, there is a question by Vince. If you can see at 357.
This one. Yes, I put up.
So he says it's an illusory to have online hearings because every facet of the process is manual, posting, service, and exchange of documents and bundles. If you actually look at Order 62, I believe in the rules of court, when it involves lawyers exchanging documents and all that, parties can agree as to how you can exchange documents. We have actually gone online, so even bundles of documents can be emailed to one another. As to service of documents to defendants who are not lawyers, defendants themselves, interestingly, again, Kenny and me, somehow we are always tied to each other. We were involved in a seminar where an American guy from Texas was invited to give suggestions to the judiciary as to how to speed up our processes. And one of the things that he actually said was this. He said, back where he is from, they don't file their court case first. They don't file their originating process first. They will draft whatever needs to be drafted, and they will serve first. If service is effective, then only they file it in court, and the court will process it. Judiciary does not agree to it, of course.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just reading messages coming to the RWC inbox. We got some messages coming in. Okay, all right. So, as a summary, ladies and gentlemen, and I would like to end later with a very interesting question early on by a member, nothing to do with the litigation process, but our football allegiance. But as a summary, ladies and gentlemen, can we first, give a cyber round of applause to Desmond and Kenny for spending their time to do this? Thank you very much. I think in summary, for the MCO, we can still continue doing filing. We cannot file affidavit. We can file new cases. Hearings may be able to go on. We file a certificate of urgency. SARs can still hear us. Online hearing can be done if provided you give the other party 3 days notice and the other party agree. There have been comments on LinkedIn and Facebook. We've seen some lawyers actually successfully conducting hearing now at this moment during MCO online, so it can be done. Moving forward after MCO, we foresee that parties will embrace online hearing. What do you call this? Then online hearing, we may embrace everything a little bit more towards internet, right? So I see a comment by Benjamin. Perhaps we can have a webinar with our Sabah Sarawak counterpart. Yes, I intend to discuss that with my buddies in Sabah and Sarawak. They are also stuck in house like us, so maybe they can share some time. I hope you all enjoy this talk. Yeah,
Richard.
Sorry, Kenny?
For all meetings that we always have, the person who suggests will also be part of it, lah. We also invite Benjamin.
We bring in Bukit Bertajam, kawan lama, our old Lion Farm. Yeah. So before we go, I just want to ask a very interesting question to both Kenny and Desmond. We have a question from Jay. I have a question related to litigation. It's about the sports competition, especially the Premier League. What are your thoughts in this? Is null and void? Liverpool new champion? Would the same principle apply to all other sports like NBA? The two of you want to try to answer this?
Okay. Let's put it this way. I think some of you may know Richard's an Everton fan, Desmond's an Arsenal fan, and I'm a United fan.
Never win. Yeah, Everton never win. Yeah.
If we can help it, we don't want Liverpool to win now. But to be fair to them, they are the strongest team available now. The problem with declaring someone the champion, which also will then lead to who goes into Champions League, who gets relegated. So if the season is not complete, then I think it's difficult to actually declare anyone anything. To be fair to top and bottom, who comes up from the League One and who goes down to League One would also be an issue. Because coming up will give them a lot of money. Losing out will lose out a lot of money as well. So I really don't know how this will be, but I think maybe Richard will be a better person.
Sports law. Desmond, you want to say something? I got a message. Read out. Yeah.
Not much on law, but more on fairness. I think, to be fair itself, there are a lot of repercussions if we actually just aim the EPL at the season as it is now, because then who goes up, who goes down, who gets Championship League and all these positions that are at stake. It affects a lot of people. Not only that, it affects money-wise to sponsors and all that.
Yeah.
What would be fair and good would be that if the league continues once MCO is uplifted, just that everything is deferred. So maybe, like say, if it has to go on and spill into 2021, then balance of 2021 season will just not go on. Then it's just no 2021 season, it's just 2022.
Yeah, maybe we delay.
Good
comments. Good comments from two of you. I think two of you can do sports law. I received a comment from a judge. I would like to keep the name anonymous. the judge informed us that actually the judge logged on to here. Thank you very much, Judge. That actually the preferred app for online hearing is Skype, and apparently judges have been receiving guidance on it. It is something
that Skype is now offering the sort of like the Zoom way. Skype is now like you can for more than one person instead of party to party. So yeah, I think it's more secure than Zoom, I believe.
Yes, much obliged to the judge who shared this information. I think, as you can see, even the judges are very much technologically adept, and they have adopted and adapted. Yeah, so it's fantastic. So it's the way forward. So with that in mind, I think we can summarize by saying that the purpose of this this talk was to try and share some ideas and maybe a simple roadmap, what we can do now and what we can do later. I think we also, three of us are former members of Bar Council. We always want to watch out for the best of our bar. We always want to give the best to our members. And I think we, all 19,000 of us across Peninsula, we must be prepared. We must be prepared. We have to be prepared for a change. And when I say technology, I don't mean having an iPhone or a Samsung Huawei. I'm really talking about adopting, understanding how Zoom works, how Skype works, learning apps, giving services online, using Google Business, blah, 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 Google Suites, Microsoft Team, etc., etc. We have to embrace that. And this last 2 weeks clearly showed lawyers who were not prepared for technology are very well behind. So we have to try and move forward. Any last words, Kenny, Desmond, before we wrap it up?
Yeah, since the judge actually mentioned about using Skype, just a tip, perhaps we can also look at how China is handling online hearings. They have an internet court that are actually doing online hearings. So let's learn from our counterparts all over the world, how they handle it. Are there rules? Because we can tweak it to suit our own scenario itself in Malaysia.
Correct. Yeah, at the end of the day, like I said, for anything to move forward, I think all parties have to come together and put their views forward to see what the pros and cons, to see the problems that each side would have. Then with that in mind, or with that input from all parties, then a better system can come forth. Not have system that goes, okay, I want to do this, you all have to adapt. No, I think we have to get everyone together, all stakeholders sit down, go through everything that needs to be done, and then you get a system that is working for everybody. That would be the way to go.
Okay. Once again, round of applause for Kenny and Desmond. Thank you very much. Since the beginning of the MCO, my law firm, we've used this very preferred hashtag, and I would like to end by saying this. Before that, number one, please stay safe, stay home, no jogging, be cooperative. Let's try to really stop COVID-19, and then with regards to our practice, continue working online, maintaining your services with your clients. They need help, talk to the clients. The employment matter seems to be prevalent, so talk to them. Just to share some talks, RWC is holding a webinar tomorrow on employment matters with Brickfields College. On Friday, we will soon announce we are holding a talk on the impact on tourism. It's a busy week for RWC. Impact on tourism, where my partner Marlisa will be the lead speaker with two other people from stakeholders. And on Saturday, we are back on Facebook. Saturday, very important talk. On Saturday, we have a big panel of Mr. Jayabalan from Johor, Miss Yvonne Lim Yang Yang from Kedah, Langkawi, Encik Ahmad Alwi from Orang Kelantan, and then my buddy Chu Diwei from KL Bar. We're going to have a discussion on the impact of COVID-19 on legal firm, especially about us, lawyers. How is this impacting us, and what are we going to do moving forward? So all four speakers have provided some ideas online, etc., etc. So I've gathered them around, and on Saturday at 11 a.m., just like this, we'll be back on Facebook to share this. So log on, and then I hope you can join in the chat. And with that in mind, I would like to end by saying this to everybody. We must not give up, and together we will prevail. We will do this together, and we will prevail in the end. Thank you very much. Adios, amigos. Terima kasih.
you,
Bye-bye.
thank you.
See you around. Take care. Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.